Enough. Sure Hao shouted, his gaze cold and detached. After opening the unique heavenly realm, his left hand blazed like the sun, while his right hand was as dark as ink. This was the Kunping power, but it was transformed and supplemented with thunder and lightning techniques. With this, he became incredibly terrifying. His right hand surged with the power of the sun, covered in lightning runes, while his left hand churned with lunar energy enveloped in lightning. Sure Hao took confident strides, directly confronting the lightning. On the surface, it appeared to be a clash of lightning laws, merging into yin and yang poles, yet, at this moment, everyone's hearts trembled. His thunderous power was too violent, invincible, even causing the lightning child to be filled with electric sparks. What's happening? Is there someone who can contend with the lightning child in the path of thunder art? What a formidable individual. His talent is exceptionally high, using a different type of foundational rune to activate lightning and creating such a shocking thunderous power. Sure Hao's techniques were grand and unrestrained, displaying a heroic aura that made him stand out. He advanced bravely, as if he were a reborn heavenly emperor. The lightning child's expression changed. His laws of lightning were actually shattered, his opponent's mutated thunder power was supreme, a rarity even among his peers. Upon closer consideration, he realized that instead of opposing him with lightning, the resonance between yin and yang, sun and moon, suppressed the world, leaving a profound impact. Crack, a five-colored lightning burst forth, surrounding the lightning child with a colorful glow. It was a powerful secret technique of thunder, yet it couldn't knock his opponent back. He was secretly shocked. Contemplating how disastrous it would be if his opponent employed a one-of-a-kind innate art. The more he thought, the more serious his expression became. They separated, each standing their ground. Let me witness your prowess. Tani of the Fire and Metal clan arrived. Seated cross-legged in the void, his body was enveloped by a radiant sun. Blazing divine flames burned fiercely, dazzling and brilliant. He sat like a divine being within the radiant sun. Exuding an air of solemnity, Sure Hao had clashed with Tani before in the Copper Sparrow altar. At that time, Tani's time was restricted, preventing him from fully exerting his true power. He had dispersed on his own. Clearly, he considered Sure Hao a formidable opponent. He immediately unleashed his supreme treasure, a shining and resplendent treasure bottle above his head. On the other side, Moonchant Fairy was also surrounded. The witch appeared. Her pure white hands radiating divine light as they clashed with the restoration art. Two peerless heavenly maidens engaged in a fierce battle. They were like enchanting women stepping out of a painting, graceful and beautiful, their figures alluring. Their fair arms and legs, dancing dresses, even in the midst of battle, they exuded an extreme beauty that captured the heart. Boom, the fire and metal treasure bottle seal took form, its mouth crystal clear, radiating colorful rosy light. Sword energy burst forth, causing a commotion that astonished even the primordials. The Fire and Metal clan was one of the 10 ancient primal races. Tani's strength was superior among his peers. The Fire and Metal treasure bottle seal was known as the fusion of the mightiest races, and now it was proving its former invincible legend. Rainbows of sword chi shot through the sky, with countless runes inside the bottle forming formidable sword energies, exuding dazzling radiance. Thousands upon thousands of sword energies swept towards Sure Hao. In this moment, Sure Hao remained calm. Seeing Tani again, he understood this person was terrifying. However, even when he couldn't use his signature technique, he remained strangely tranquil. Not long ago, he had witnessed the battle of the primordials, where young talents from various races competed for supremacy. A myriad of runes interweaved in his mind. Evolving constantly, the vermilion bird soaring, the chimera roaring to the heavens, lightning filling the skies, and the true phoenix revealing its splendid divine wings, original true solution, transforming decay into the extraordinary. Sure Hao moved, his hands merging, sending out boundless divine light. Numerous runes surged forth, including many common savage beasts, fierce birds, and many mighty races. They all resonated. And the most basic runes evolved into incredibly formidable divine abilities. Boom, this strike reached the heart and soul. He glimpsed into the profundity of transforming decay into the extraordinary, a comprehension far deeper than before. He could now contend against true mighty techniques. Hey, what kind of runes are these? How strange. The most fundamental bone runes have intertwined to form a perfect strike with astonishing power. Some of the young supremes showed surprise. Shaken in their hearts, at this moment, original bone runes came together, continuously evolving, forming the most intricate pattern that sealed the boundless sword chi in the sky. Tani's expression changed in the void. This aura made him feel grave. The countless sword beams he released from the complete treasure bottle above his head dimmed and vanished, supreme Tao's suppression. He gave a light shout, and the Fire and Metal treasure bottle flew forward, pressing down on Sure Hao. Genesis. Sure Hao also shouted, his black hair dancing, clothes rustling. His hands formed seals, resisting upwards. This collision created an earth-shattering roar in the void. Countless runes exploded, heaven and earth trembling, radiance so dazzling that even the primordials had to close their eyes for a short moment. It was too intense. Their runes collided like mountains and seas parting, like the birth of immortals and demons, with radiant light and mist pervading the air. Resembling chaos. Finally, when the world quieted down, the Fire and Metal treasure bottles shattered into 4 pieces, dissipating. As for the original runes that Sure Hao released, they dimmed in the void and disappeared. The Fire and Metal clan's supreme mystery. The Fire and Metal treasure bottle seal was actually broken? After quite some time, everyone gasped, finding this youth truly terrifying. Let me try. A young powerhouse with golden hair walked over. His radiance and brilliance dazzling. He was enveloped in overwhelming golden flames. Every step he took made the void tremble. Sure how didn't move. These primordials were all proud and confident. They weren't ganging up on him, however, these individuals were too self-assured. They all wanted to step forward and strike him to test his strength, assessing him as if he were nothing. Who do you think I am? If anyone dares to approach, don't blame me for being merciless and cutting them all down. Sure Hao's eyes glinted as he surveyed the crowd, especially the golden-haired man walking towards him. The golden-haired man's gaze was like torches as he advanced. Was he warning him? In his view, this was a naked threat and provocation. Are you talking to me? He asked calmly, his footsteps powerful as he drew nearer, his body radiating light, surging with golden blood chi. Overwhelmingly oppressing. He raised the corner of his lips, a trace of mockery and indifference in his eyes as he looked down upon Sure Hao. You can take it that way, Sure Hao responded. The golden-haired man was bathed in flames, numerous golden symbols appearing on his body. His smile grew wider, but it carried a coldness, taunting, so arrogant. I think you'll die young, unlikely to survive today. You? If you were killed at your age, it wouldn't be dying young, Sure Hao retorted. Kill me? Flaunting yourself before me, I'll send you on your way. The golden-haired man spoke, erupting with power in an instant. Runes intertwined, staining the void gold. The area seemed like an ocean surging, turbulent and intense. Sure Hao had a slender figure, looking delicate when still. His gaze was clear, his teeth white, and his smile radiant, especially dazzling. At this moment, he stared at the approaching figure, responding with actions. He clenched his fist. Taking the initiative to attack, in just an instant, he transformed from tranquility to dominance. Chi surged like a true dragon, coiling around his body and radiating outward. He seemed like a divine being dancing through the 9 heavens. The golden-haired man stood in the sky, looking down upon the ground below, and sneered, I've roamed across several provinces, and since my debut, I've only killed geniuses. Killing you today might tarnish my hands. His implication was clear, mocking Sure Hao was just a means to reluctantly make a move. If you want to die, come over. Sure Hao's words were concise. He was prepared for a fierce battle. He needed to establish his dominance, to slay a member of the first generation and thus awe the world. The golden-haired man, hovering in the air, descended with an astonishing speed, leaving a trail of golden afterimages. He raised his foot, aiming his attack at Sure Hao's head. With his aggressive approach, he displayed great arrogance, a direct insult to Sure Hao. His opening move was a blatant display of disdain, a show of dominance and strength, aiming to crush a member of the first generation and showcase his own unparalleled brilliance. Attack. Sure Hao bellowed. His disheveled hair danced in the wind. He transformed from stillness to action, his demeanor shifting dramatically. He seemed like a revived deity or demon. His gaze sharp and intimidating. Chi billowed around him, his right fist radiated brilliance, soaring towards the heavens like a blazing sun. Countless runes surged into the sky, all aimed at the golden-haired man. If the opponent dared to be so overbearing, to attack in such a way, Sure Hao naturally responded with his true power. His forceful strike was meant to shatter that foot. Boom. The collision was accompanied by a brilliant shower of light, symbols filling the sky densely. An ancient clash of mystical arts, a battle of divine powers. Undeniably, the golden-haired man was extremely powerful. The might of his single foot could shake the heavens and the earth, enough to turn mountains to dust and rupture the earth, and with such an attack, aiming to trample upon someone's skull, one could imagine its ferocity. Once struck, the flesh and blood would certainly shatter, transforming into a mist of blood. Thud. Sure Hao soared into the air. His fist still clenched, shattering the runes as he prepared for a decisive blow. Break for me. High above, the man's foot glowed, emanating incomparable golden symbols that formed a galaxy diagram, materializing beneath his foot like a starry sky descending to suppress Sure Hao. The madman had the capital for his arrogance. He was truly powerful, capable of defeating the geniuses of various formidable races. Sure Hao's gaze was profound, his fist unchanged, but within it, several profound techniques had merged. The ancient vermilion bird's 4 strikes, the true phoenix's wingspan, these were fragmented secret arts, yet through the evolution of primal true interpretation, they transformed into wondrous techniques. At the same time, he activated the Kunping's true power, fusing them together. This punch was exceptionally formidable, invincible, and could shatter all obstacles, despite the distance. Everyone could sense the punch's tyranny and terror. It shook the void, warping the surrounding space, threatening to shatter it. All of this was concealed beneath lightning runes. Sure Hao's fist gleamed, interwoven with thunder, bursting forth in a dazzling radiance that shook the heavens and the earth. This greatly surprised Thunder Child. He was sure that the opponent had another secret technique. This was just the surface. Boom, with a tremendous boom, accompanied by lightning. The thunderous fist pierced through the star diagram like a scroll being torn apart. It burst into flames, creating a dazzling spectacle within the lightning's brilliance. This was Sure Hao's forceful strike. His fist shone like a rainbow, defying the heavens. Finally, it struck the man's foot. Pluff, blood sprayed, bones cracked. A sound of fracture echoed as the foot, aimed at Sure Hao's skull, shattered. The symbols dimmed, and that foot was on the brink of ruin, simultaneously. Sure Hao's clenched fist turned into a claw, seizing the man's ankle with a loud thud and yanking downwards. With just a single grasp, the area below the ankle could no longer withstand the force. It quickly shattered, revealing pale bone fragments and blood, a horrifying sight. The crowd was shocked. Had this young man already succeeded so early on? Sure Hao pulled downwards with force. With a plop, blood stained the void. The ankle came off, slicing off the man's foot. A gasp swept through the crowd, mist and radiance shrouded the area, with symbols flowing like a hazy mist. Suddenly, Shirhao felt something amiss. He hadn't heard any screams, and the surroundings seemed blurry. This wasn't a sign of a great victory. Finally, he realized that the severed foot, which had fallen down, had transformed into a small segment of vine. The so-called blood had turned into golden sap, far from flesh and blood. A vine? Who is this person? A golden cicada sheds its skin. Could this not be his true form? The onlookers were astonished, their gazes focused, searching for the golden-haired man, silent and imperceptible, within the mist and radiance, for golden vines appeared, each wrapping around one of Shirhao's limbs. It was eerie and terrifying. Soon, an overwhelming golden light emitted from the vine's break. Not far away, the golden-haired man spoke coldly and mercilessly. His body was barely visible within the mist. Only his pupils shining with a chilling light. He aimed to sever Shirhao's limbs open. Shirhao shouted, opening his celestial cave. The vines entwining his limbs were suppressed, their shimmering runes quickly dimming. He exerted force, and a series of crisp sounds followed, as if stone and metal were shattering. The 4 golden vines snapped, and from a distance, the golden-haired man emitted a muffled groan. Stonehao's gaze flickered as he stared ahead. The Firegold clan's vine hadn't made a move yet. Who was this person, and how could they wield such vines? The mist dissipated, revealing the golden-haired man standing tall, surrounded by dancing flames of gold. His expression was icy, hands forming seals, as an even more powerful aura erupted. I know, he's the scion of the Sunvine Hall, named Jinlai. Someone exclaimed, recognizing his identity. This revelation surprised the crowd and sent a shiver down their spines. The Sunvine Hall was an undoubtedly formidable place, but the sunvine that grew there, the strength of their young geniuses was beyond doubt. Stonehow had once seen a high-ranking member of the Sunvine Hall in the mortal realm, severed by the Divine Willow and then escaping to the upper realm. He never thought he would encounter someone from this clan. He admitted that this person named Jinlai had the qualifications to be arrogant. He was truly formidable. Since my birth, I, Jinlai, have never suffered a defeat. Today, you've caused me a minor setback, the golden-haired man murmured to himself, his gaze becoming even more dazzling as flames spewed forth. In the next moment, vines spread around him, rapidly growing and filling the void with golden vines intertwined with fierce Dao fire. The supreme art of the Sunvine clan, divine vine Dao fire. Someone whispered, others gasped, their gazes fixed intently. The flames were indeed fearsome, warping the void, and the countless vines twinkled with runes, forming a deadly formation. The divine vine Dao fire dominated the sky, encircling Stonehow, squeezing him towards the center. Use all your tricks, I shall stand firm. Stonehow mused internally, his Dao realm protecting him as he coldly observed Jinlai. Everyone was surprised. The fearsome Dao fire that had pressed against Stonehow's light sphere suddenly dimmed, its destructive power greatly reduced. When those golden vines pierced through, they became feeble, their runes fading, showing signs of being obliterated. What a terrifying domain. What is this? Why does it feel like a Dao realm? The onlookers were astonished. Though they were all first-generation cultivators, they were confident in their abilities. Yet at this moment, their expressions revealed shock. Jinlai was also taken aback. He had been blocked unexpectedly. He vigorously activated his arts, trying to push the Dao fire and golden vines into the misty light. Simultaneously, he shot out a peculiar vine, black as obsidian, not golden, emanating an eerie light. It instantly pierced into Stonehow's only Dao realm. Stonehow reached out, his grip causing a sharp pain. Astonishingly, his palm was bleeding. That's the capital for Jinlai's disdain towards his peers. It's said to be a vine unlike any possessed by his clan, a unique rune bestowment from the heavens, someone explained. In an instant, Stonehow erupted, his primordial enlightenment circulating, resonating with the myriad bone scripts, exuding a supreme force. He put all his might into shattering this black vine. A snap, the tip of the black vine broke, Jinlai cried out in surprise, and swiftly retreated. His expression growing extremely ugly. This vine was devastating, capable of destroying treasures and absorbing vital energy. It was infallible, never having failed before. Yet today, it had been damaged. Boom, Stonehow advanced, his Dao realm glowing as it enveloped him, like a towering furnace. He pressed forward, shattering the divine vine Dao fire and everything else before him. With a punch, he aimed for Jinlai's defeat. Very well. You're so powerful that it's worth me revealing my killer move. I'll send you to your death. Jinlai's voice was composed, an air of coldness and indifference. Quickly, he activated a unique stone casket, simple and ancient, engraved with various creatures. In an instant, a mist wafted out, carrying a lump of yellow mud the size of an infant's fist. It flew towards Stonehow. Not only was Stonehow startled, even the first-generation cultivators watching were alarmed. And those who had ignited their divine flames quickly retreated, their hair standing on end. This lump of yellow mud was inexplicably sinister, giving off a faint light with a misty aura. It exuded a destructive aura, making people's hearts tremble. It's that lump of yellow mud, the crowd remembered a legend. Long ago, a grand figure of their sect had ventured deep into an uninhabited region, accidentally stepping on a lump of yellow mud. It emitted a faint light, turning the elder into a pool of bloody mud. Later, it was heard that the Sunvine Hall's top experts had gone there, but they didn't find the lump of yellow mud. Instead, they saw a patch of damp soil, which was carefully collected and refined. The soil collected by the Sunvine Hall had some of the characteristics of the yellow mud. After verification, they found it to be shockingly dangerous. Clearly, the sect's top experts had bestowed this yellow mud to Jean Lai, allowing him to bring it into the hidden realm. This was a cheat code, capable of killing anyone. As the electric spark met the stone and flowers bloomed in an instant, Stonehow overheard their discussions. No wonder Jean Lai was so arrogant, he possessed such a hidden card. He rapidly retreated, but the yellow mud pursued relentlessly, evading left and right. Stonehow found himself unable to escape. The yellow mud's strange pursuit was relentless, becoming increasingly perilous. At this crucial moment, Stonehow brought out his cauldron of eternity. It was mysterious and contained something extraordinary, the soil from an immortal tomb. As he lifted the cauldron's lid, something strange happened. The lump of yellow mud immediately plunged inside, sinking into the depths of the cauldron, intertwining with the soil from the immortal tomb, and then all fell silent. Onlookers were dumbfounded. The yellow mud had been taken in? While it might not have been the terrifying yellow mud, it still possessed some properties. Accept your fate. Stonehow roared, charging towards Jean Lai. The outcome was already decided. Though Jean Lai was powerful, he wasn't a match for Stonehow without the yellow mud. His advantage lost, he had no way to escape. Boom, a sequence of battles unfolded, golden flames billowed, and runes filled the heavens and earth. Golden vines and leaves continuously shattered and fell, bang. In the end, Stonehow leaped into the air, landing a solid foot on Jean Lai's skull, crushing it thoroughly. He had turned the tables on Jean Lai, using his own tactics against him. Crunch, Jean Lai cried out in agony as his skull cracked, nearly shattering. Then, Stonehow descended like lightning, his palm striking down, sending Jean Lai's head flying off his neck. A first-generation cultivator was beheaded, shocking everyone present.